Welcome to the Collector's Archive, Season 5, Episode 4.
Good evening, Tim. How are we, sir?
Pretty good. Little tired, but happy to do this. Thank you for your invite.
No, I appreciate you agreeing to come on. If you want to just take a moment before we start, just to let people know where they can find you on the social media side, and then we'll crack on.
Absolutely. Sounds like a good deal. My name's Tim. Maybe some of you know me. I'm Tim K's Nerd Crate, or also the Nerd Crate 2 for all things Transformers. So Nerd Crate originally 1 is pretty much all things nerd stuff, also talks and movie reviews and whatnot sometimes. And Nerd Crate 2, all things Transformers, currently also re-uploading there a little bit. I'm also one half of the collector's shop, the Collector's Bay. Maybe you know that. Also Mondays with the Chatter Dome online German podcast for all things nerd stuff. And on my Instagram and Facebook, you will find toy news not only of Transformers, but also Masters of the Universe, a little bit of 6 scale, and whatever tickles my fancy, so to speak.
What is it that you collect?
Interesting questions, because you pretty much find me at the end of my collection journey.
Right. Okay.
I'm big on Transformers. I started out way back, I believe it was 2013, with Masterpiece. I wanted to have the original MP1 Optimus Prime always, and that was pretty much dirt cheap by that point. And I bought that, and I also went in with, MP18 Prow, so back in the new scale, and then Ironhide and Ratchet and whatnot. I had a lot of those, actually. I sold most of my Masterpiece stuff, and I went into the New Age Legends game a few years back.
Yeah.
Because these were big for a few of those you see in the back there. And but currently I'm pretty much done with Transformers, because it just all takes way too long. Maybe we dabble in that topic later on. But currently I'm back with actually fleshing out a few spaces. I'm also a pretty big 6 scale Terminator collector, and I was able to find one of, I believe, 19 Kyle Reese done in 6 scale for the Terminator. So that was a big grail for me. Masters of the Universe was big for me in the last few months, actually. Masterverse mainly, New Eternia. That's a lot of fun. Few Origins, a little bit of wrestling here, some video game stuff, and also sometimes stuff that I just enjoyed in my youth, and where a new version came up where I said I can't pass that up, like the Power Master Optimus Prime by KFC Toys. There was this Super Ginrai from the original side, and that was okay, but the KFC gave me the true Masterpiece appeal for that particular character, and that's one of the last big pieces that I've gotten. Also a big Predacon fan, so I got the mini Feroci Chibi set. That was funny. I'm looking forward to the Adamas Machina Transformers. So I'm not that much of a completionist. I'm more like I want the representations that I care for, and where I say at the end of the day, I'm happy with what I got.
Right. Yeah. So would you say Transformers are the main focus of your collecting, or would you say that now something else has supplanted that and taken over from that?
Interesting. It's usually a big center part of my collection journey, because Transformers was big in my youth. Like I was very happy to actually have seen Transformers the movie in television back then on German TV. It was somewhere in the early 90s, where it was actually running just as a TV special on the local station RTL Plus. It was just a Saturday morning cartoon pretty much, and I was like, wow, what is with the animation? It never looked that good. And years later I was like, oh, okay, that was a movie then. Pretty cool. Right. And where many people actually collect all the seasons completely, I'm like, I just want some representations, and that's pretty much what I did. At a certain point in my New Age journey, I actually was, okay, I'm going to go all in with the X versions and with the comic versions, because the comics is what I read. That's what we said in the pre-hangout. We both are big Marvel UK guys, so I wanted to have that comic versions, but also the toy versions. But as time went on and time was spread so much with combiners, with releases of the toys in general, and that's again where this whole end of the collection journey actually comes into play. It just takes way too much time, and I just want to do something else. So currently, there's no actual focus to my collection in general. Like, I still have something from Masters of the Universe coming in. I have a display that I'm happy with now with that. Like 2 days prior, I was just able to finish a display for my Terminator collection, quarter scale Terminator endoskeleton with flames lit up and whatnot. I'm currently actually, I believe that is my current collection focus, where I try to flesh out and finalize the displays that I have to my as close to possible 100% liking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, what got you collecting in the first place? Why do you collect? What was there anything in particular that motivated you to do it?
Spawn got me back into or into collecting as a general. Like, with all the kids, pretty much from the 80s, I had a lot of Masters of the Universe, Lego, Playmobil, Transformers, Mask, a lot of it. So also big fan of Ramen Toy and what they are doing. And the thing is, back then when it all pretty much started down and then life happened and job and what you are trying to do as a young adult, toys weren't a focus in my life. And then there was this last place in my hometown, which was called Spielspaß, which pretty much directly translated to play and fun. They had stuff everywhere in their place, like pretty much down under the ceiling. And there was this one figure they had. It was the old Spawn the Blood Axe with Thunderhoof, which is a Viking Spawn with pretty much a zombie horse and a Viking armor adorned to it and everything. Mm-hmm. And I could not pass that up. I had no action figure whatsoever. I believe I was 23 or 24 at that point, so rather young.
Right.
And I grabbed that, and I got home, and my parents were both like, "An action figure? Are you serious?" And I'm like, I mean, look at this thing, how good it looks. My father was super skeptical. My mother was like, "Come on, let him. It's just a face." I'm 43 now, so much for a face. And that brought me in, and right. I was super deep into Spawn. I still have all the figures, but the comics lost me. And from there, I moved over to Movie Maniacs and pretty much movie collecting. Like I said, Terminator, also have some RoboCop stuff. But yeah, from everything that is here in my collection space, it's pretty much all thanks to Spawn.
Right. So that was... Because that's great. Because you've kind of sort of encapsulated my next question to you in that. So okay. it was the Spawn stuff that brought you back into collecting then, and it was that particular figure that did it.
Not pretty much brought in. Beforehand, I had no collection whatsoever. Like before that, it was just my toys, and there was 10, 15, 20 years of nothing. And then Spawn brought me into the world of figure collecting as a whole. Yeah. So that was it. Like Spawn at first, and I believe when I remember correctly, I had some model kits from 124 truck models that I actually built. I dabbled in that sometimes. Yeah. But Spawn were those figures, and then there was some more from McFarlane, like the Creech, the Movie Maniacs and stuff like that. And from there on out, it went to Digipack collecting for metal bands. I'm a metalhead also, and so it's pretty far spread. But Spawn brought me in, and I still got all the stuff, but I have only one on display, so to speak, somewhere down below there. So yeah. I just want that one representation. I just currently don't have space for that kind of.
No. So what? Anything new then that's arrived to you recently? Anything new that's in your collection?
Currently, actually, not really. The newest thing that I got here is actually this guy. That was a gift. That is the Masters 20 X, so 200X Roboto.
Yeah.
It was gifted to me from my friend Andy from my podcast panel. I'm a big Roboto guy. I have the Vintage here. I have the Origins here. I have the New Eternia here. And then he stands in front of my door and gives me the package, and all of a sudden I have a Roboto collection, and that was not the plan. So that was the newest one. But for the actual collection, like what I said beforehand, the quarter scale endoskeleton, I got a few LED stripes to actually light up the flames to reenact the scene where he steps out of the burning tanker truck. And also got the Terminator 1 Japanese Laserdisc. I wanted to have that behind it, so a little bit more of a deluxe display. I actually believe I have a picture on here that I could actually show, but otherwise it's behind there. I did myself a little bit of a let's call it, I don't know how to actually call it. I tried my best to divide my living room into the collection podcast area and the actual living area.
Right.
So the wall that you see here are actually just shelves, and behind there is my living area, and that's where the display is.
Right. Is there anything that you're waiting, like have any pre-orders on that you're waiting for, anything that's due to come in that you're eagerly awaiting? Yeah, there's the swan song to my collection. I ordered 2 years ago the Prime 1/3 scale T800 endoskeleton from Terminator 2. Right.
So that was supposed to be delivered in the vicinity of these current months, but it's now been actually pushed back to December because they are overhauling a little bit of the sculpt and the mold and whatnot. So that's taking a little bit of time. And for wish list, I mean, every year San Diego Comic-Con, and every year I hope someone, it doesn't even need to be Bandai, would be the best, but someone would actually tackle a new version, a premium, a masterpiece version of Ramrod from Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs.
We've got to go into challenge phase.
What's that?
There's no time to explain. Activate the rods above your key compartment. Hurry!
Okay, let's see what happens.
When the rods are clear, hit the flashing red light. Saber Rider, you give the signal.
Okay, get ready. Not yet. Hold it. Now!
All right. Ramrod will now take navigational control.
Acknowledge, April. Navigational control on. Ramrod challenge phase 1. Head 'em up, move 'em out. Power stride and ready to ride.
Here he comes.
That would be a day one pre-order for me. That was a big series in my time. We never had toys in Germany for that.
No.
And Bandai did a version or 2 versions, one smaller and one bigger, in Soul of Shogoken. So I just hope they do it like a new version. They did with the Lion Voltron, with the Vehicle Voltron.
Yeah.
I hope a Ramrod is coming around eventually. That's where I would put my little pinky back in the water of collecting if that would ever arise. But so far no luck. But that is coming in. I have the new Eternia Masterverse Ninjor on pre-order, but that's just way out. Superboy by Mayfax. The Caustic Plastic Akuma from Street Fighter in 1/6. I have that coming in. Should be here next month, I believe. And one last of the Axie Toys Barbarian Dinosaurs.
Right.
Do you know those?
No, what's that one?
That stuff is sick. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, cool.
And would have gotten way more anthropomorphic.
Okay.
And went barbarian.
Right. Okay.
That's Axie Toys.
Oh, the hell! Right. That's a big chunk of the thing, isn't it?
That guy is called Bloodblade, and he's the Tyrannosaur tribe leader.
Right.
So a lot of bits and pieces to the armor and whatnot.
Yeah.
intense figure. Real fur cape with wire in it.
Yeah.
And I have a smaller version, a Ceratosaur, and there's another one coming, which is, I believe, the Carnotaurus tribe leader.
All right. Yeah.
And then X Toys is going into a little bit of, like romantic armors for the Triceratops, and that's where they kind of lost me. I wish they would have gotten more of this. So yeah, I have 3 of those then, and
yeah,
then that's good. Then I'm good with that.
I mean, they're a lot bigger, but I dipped my toe in briefly with the 4 Horsemen Mythic Legions figures. And it was a chap that Greybeard Plastic Works, a chap that I talked with the other year for the Collector's Archive thing.
Mm-hmm.
We got quite a good dialogue going off, and then he sent me one because he's in the States, and he sent me one, and it was one of the skeleton Legion builders. Because we'd been chatting, because I told him about my love for the Ray Harryhausen films, the stop motion and that. And he sent me this skeleton, and I was absolutely blown away by the detail and the quality of them. They were just fantastic. And so I've ended up getting a small collection because there's far too many to go full in. So I got a couple of the Knights Templars, and then I've got let me see now. They were supposed to come in June, but they've been delayed till August now, and that's Red Clavian and Sir Enoch. Sorry.
Okay. I only dabbled ever so slight in that because I got my best friend the Cronus, which is pretty much their Trapjaw. Yeah. They got a version of that, and he's a big Trapjaw guy for Masters, so I bought him that, and we were both pretty much drooling over that. The mold details intense, the joint quality is excellent. I never heard anyone actually saying that there's something of mold fatigue or anything turning bad on them. They are great figures. Yeah. Because you said Ray Harryhausen, I'm a big fan myself. Did you know that Star Ace Toys did Ray Harryhausen figures? Like the Cyclope from Sinbad and the Seven Seas. I believe they did the Kali too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's something for you to dabble in.
No, stop. No more rabbit holes. No more rabbit holes. Well, actually, but what I will say, what I will ask you though is, I mean, I know you mentioned briefly about those figures that about getting them to doing that, but those ones aside, is there a if you could is there a character or a toy that you'd like to be made that hasn't been made yet, that you can incorporate into your collection?
The Ramrod, like I said.
The Ramrod, that right? So it would be that one, right? Okay, so let's put that one to side then. So if we leave that one there, if you could design your own toy, what would it be? What would you go for?
Galaxy Rangers.
Right.
The Galaxy Rangers. All 4 of them. Zachariah Fox, Guzman, Nico. What's the tech head's name? I always forgot the tech head's name. But yeah, the Galaxy Rangers. And maybe some of those glorious chrome steeds. That would be something. Fun fact, we as the Collector's Bay, we actually tried to get that to life. We actually were in talks with Ramen Toy about that, but the thing is, it would have come down to us pretty much designing all that, and with a 9-to-5 job, and then designing everything, and then for Ramen Toy to distribute. Okay, cool, but it never came to fruition because I tried to do a survey on their Facebook group. But it didn't have so many positive hits, so that sadly didn't come to fruition. But if there would be I have the back of my head, like the slightest little space there reserved is for the company Nacelle that's currently doing the Biker Mice.
All right.
Maybe. I mean, I could see it popping up on their portfolio, but you never know.
Yeah.
But Galaxy Rangers.
That'd be that one.
That would be it.
Yeah, good shout. Good shout. I mean, I can see. I know you've got quite a few pieces on your desk there and things like that to your left and that. But
yeah, I just spread out a little bit. I got my custom dead hat. I got a few of the masters. I have the XTB Runabout and Runamark. Yeah. I'm currently reviewing the Mastermind Creations Pharaoh, so the Leo Dux is the one I last did. So that's what I still got here. So a few comics in there.
Yeah, is there a particular piece at the moment that I like to, like I use the word vibing. Is the piece in your collection at the moment that when you come and sit down at your desk, it's like it's there that you pick it up and have a little play and mess about with kind of thing?
All the time, actually. It's actually this guy here, Marvel Legends Omega Red.
Right.
So. In the 90s, I also, as a lot of people, actually read the Jim Lee X-Men run, and I was actually astonished with the character design work. I don't know, it's so simple, and yet so stunning that he is this kind of anti-Wolverine with the death factor and all that. And I always wanted to have that guy. And last year we were as a vendor at a convention called Toyplosion in Germany.
Right.
And our vendor neighbor had this guy loose, and I could not pass that up. And I fiddle with him all the time. Is it when I'm rendering a video, or when I'm just sitting here waiting for something to load, or during the podcast? So it's absolutely killer head sculpt, looks intense. Has the great tentacles and all that. All the sculpt details are there, and I don't dabble too much in Marvel Legends, but this guy had to get with me, and it's always I barely need to print anything, so my printer is pretty much always on standby, and on the backrest of that there's he always sitting, and that's pretty much it. Also, pretty much always a Roboto, or what else? I have my Unicron here. And whatever is in the back. And when I'm sitting in my living room area, I'm currently just looking always at that empty spot where my statue is supposed to go. So so that's a little bit of an anti-vibe. Man, where's my statue? I want to have that.
Yeah. What was Can you think of a figure that? I mean, it doesn't have to be recently. It could be, in the past. But have you ever sort of like come across a figure that's just like really, really impressed you? That's just really blown you away, and sort of like thought, wow, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was my first ever 1/6 scale figure. The T600 from Terminator Salvation. Like I never dabbled in Hot Toys, and I believe 27, 28 it was released. And that was the first ever. It was my first ever 6 scale as a whole, and also as a Terminator and an endoskeleton figure. Yeah. And that thing arrives, and I grab it out of the box, and all this detail, the surface texture of that endoskeleton steel, of which the T600 was made different because it wasn't titanium. It was a rougher steel, and all the little bits and pieces, soft goods with the little clip-on pieces for his backpack, and the minigun that was attached to the arm. But the thing that captivated me the most was his shoulder. That may sound totally weird.
Right.
His shoulder. There's the main shoulder part, and that is attached to a pillar that goes into a ball pack on his inner collarbone.
Yeah.
And then you have, I believe, in all 4 or 5 hydraulic pistons connected to all this, also to the back. And when you move the shoulder, all the hydraulic pistons all flex, interconnect with the shoulder. And I was sitting there. Oh my god. I believe close to half an hour I was only looking at this, how realistic and flawlessly it all worked.
Yeah.
It was, I'm still getting a little bit of goosebumps because that pretty much probably was my pretty much best received figure I've ever gotten.
Right.
Like, anything else ever came close, I believe. Transform Element OP Leader could be close because that's to me still the best Optimus Prime that you can actually own in my book.
Yeah. It's a good figure. I've had it myself. I've swapped that out now for the Magic Square MSO2.
I knew you'd say that.
I'm a sucker. It's just like but the only thing I didn't like about Transform Element Prime was the lack of a thigh swivel.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it had had a thigh swivel, that would still be over on my shelf.
I still got that, and I also got the Magic Square, but I got the Magic Square as the Toon Color.
Yes, I've got the Toon Color one. Yeah.
So
the Toon Color and the toy version as well. I got the toy version with all the tamper graphs on, to make it look like the G1 Optimus.
Exactly. Like that was my jam. But
yeah.
The reason is why I still have the Transform Element because it still has the best truck mode, hands down.
Yes, it does have a good truck mode. Yeah.
Like it's super slim in the back. The only thing missing is an actual rear bumper. No Optimus Prime figure currently has an actual rear bumper. I don't know why there is a problem to transform the feet into a bumper, but I don't know.
Yeah. But just going back briefly when you were talking about the T600, the endoskeleton, I had similar feelings when I first got MPO1 Convoy. Yeah. When you had the working pistons on the elbows and on the back of the legs, and I was the same. I was like, whoa, the pistons going in, kind of thing. It's but it's still hard to believe that's like what it's like 22 years ago that figure came out.
Was it 2001, 2002?
Yeah, actually, it might be longer. It might be about 23 years, and it was around about then.
Something like that, right? So
yeah, I think it was definitely no later than 2003.
It's intense. There was also the internet landscape was also totally different. Like for stuff like that, you had individual internet sites made for that with Flash animation and whatnot. The Transformers what you always dreamed about, and then this guy was released. Like to me, still. That is the epitome of masterpiece, if you call it, if you ask me, because of all the die cast of the size.
Yeah.
To me, that was masterpiece. I think like when they scaled it all down, it was still cool. But this size, that to me was masterpiece.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it in my opinion, and like I say, it's just an opinion. It's not a fact, but it's. The figures that encapsulate masterpiece Transformers for me is the Ocular Max Perfection series.
Oh yeah,
so like Backdraft, Terregis, those ones. I mean, I can remember when I got Ocular Max Backdraft, and it was an emotional experience. It was like holding kind of a modern version of G1 Inferno. It just felt like a natural evolution of a G1 toy.
Ah, good call. I never had that in hand. I actually don't own a singular Ocular Max figure. Nope, not one Ocular Max figure.
No. But you've got you have the Mastermind Creation Anubis, don't you?
No, I don't. I just know what it is, but I don't have it because I think it's a hideous version of Death Head.
yeah. No, I agree. So, obviously, the next question, it won't be that figure. So, if you were stuck on a desert island, what figure would you have with you?
My Death Head.
Yeah, your Death Head.
Because that is Death's Head.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he has to look, and that is mine, and I'm extremely proud of that. And that's pretty much like if I would have to sell it all, or like you said, if there would be a scenario where I would be stuck, that would be the one thing, because I finally have a figure of one of my absolute favorite characters, and the best part is I made it myself.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I was just going to mention, you know, that's as we were chatting before we started recording. That's your own customization of the Marvel Legends Death Set.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, which is it's a phenomenal job. It's a really nice figure, is that? And should you take commissions, I shall.
I was actually asked before if I would actually do it, and people asked me why did you have to butcher the original version, and I always say, well, because I wanted to give Economics the sign that Death's Head sells. I could have taken Colossus for the overall steel skin appearance and whatnot, but then I would have given Economics the wrong sign. This way, I gave Economics another count for Death's Head, and I custom it to show this is how he has to look. So it's a lot of work, but it's not impossible to do. And I'm especially happy I customized or I conceptualized in my head what I wanted to do with it. And I would say a solid 95% everything I tried on this guy just worked out an absolute treat. Yeah. So I'm extremely happy with that. The head is also custom. I actually bought that off Etsy. It's a 3D print. Mm-hmm. It was also not 100% accurate, but I was happy. The horns, the original, broke off. They were at a curve.
Right.
And not at an angle, how they are in the comics. So they broke off, and I was like, kind of had to cut them off anyway. So I sculpted those. So, commissions, overall, but there would be waiting time involved due to shop and my own stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. And that's understandable. Right, you see, I was going to ask you about your other interests, like other collecting focuses and toy lines and things like that, but we've already discussed that because you went through that earlier on when you mentioned about Masterverse and the Legends scale stuff and things like that. So I'm not going to trudge over old ground with that one. So what I will do is
there is still stuff. I don't only dabble in that. I dabble in music. I dabble in a little bit in comics, in movies. Right. So there's still that stuff also.
Right. Right, okay. Well, I'll pick movies then. So, what is there any particular genre of movies then that you have an interest in?
Okay. Well, my favorite movie of all time is The Terminator, the very first.
Yeah.
If you ask me, that's the purest version of The Terminator, because James Cameron back then was hungry, and he had that vision for a movie, and that was it. Mm-hmm. My top 3 is actually The Terminator, RoboCop, and Terminator 2 in that order. But of course also Transformers the movie 1986. There's stuff that kind of stealthed its way in my taste for movies, which is real life occurrences like The Wolf of Wall Street, Moneyball. Yesterday I watched American Made with Tom Cruise, which is the story of Barry Seal and the drug smuggling and whatnot. And Sandinistas and that stuff. I never knew about that. Crazy. So that was new to me. That is interesting. Captain Phillips and what you find like that. Of course, comic adaptions. I'm a big MCU guy. I believe pretty much everything they did until Endgame was pretty much perfect, and then it went tumbling down. And now with Captain America Brave New World and Thunderbolts, they have a chance to rise it back up again. I love Thunderbolts. It was a great movie. I think they made Sentry a great character. I'm looking forward what they will do with that, and with Doomsday and the multiverse stuff. How they are actually steering that ship around after the Jonathan Majors stuff. Superman, looking forward to that. I'm a big Man of Steel fan. I love Henry Cavill. That was to me was Dan Jurgens' 90s Superman in real life with Henry Cavill, and how Warner fumbled the ball with that franchise is unheard of.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy, travesty, call it whatever you like. But I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
A little bit of horror, but I like more a little bit of suspense, not too gory. So meaning stuff, conjuring that's playing with your primal fear. I like that. Yeah, pretty much that, and just pretty much also amassing the movies that I loved in my youth and having those in the best possible versions, like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, Sylvester Stallone Over the Top, Burt Reynolds and Jerry Reed Smoking the Bandit, Chris Christopherson Convoy, that stuff like me that was me in the past, and that's me ever since, because I'm still a big truck guy. So that's pretty much my whole movie watching experience, whatever. Pretty broad interest, I would say. Rather.
They're all great movies, and I agree with you on 99% of that. I'd probably go a bit of a different order. So I'm gonna. This isn't one of the questions, but I'm going to ask you this, and I think I know the answer. But Terminator versus RoboCop, who'd win?
Terminator, easy. just because RoboCop has the way slower servos and whatnot, and he may be stronger, but the Terminator is just faster. It's to me, it's not even a contest.
Right.
I'm. The fun thing is, I am extremely bad with numbers, like mathematics. You can exercise me from any building, whatever you like exorcism, with mathematics. But I'm logical in the way, like when I put the Terminator and how he moves as an endoskeleton beside RoboCop, and how his movements are very slow, and the servos are very slow and man-made and whatnot. You see, okay, the one is machine-made and perfectionalized or perfected. And the other is man-made. There's no way the man-made can actually defeat the machine-made. If you, my opinion.
I would. I don't disagree with you, but I think the thing would be, the Terminator would have to keep its distance in attacks, because I think it were a case of, I think if RoboCop actually physically got hold of the Terminator, he'd just rip it to pieces.
That's what I said. Where it's stronger. That's right. Because the lower arms, for example, with the smaller pistons, are just a little bit more finagly. If you can grip that and actually press that, I can see that.
You know, so I think it'd be a case of, it would have to be a case of Terminator would have to come in, attack, back off, come in. It'd have to do that kind of thing. Where I think, like say, if RoboCop managed to get on, they just rip his head off or rip his arms off, or things like that. So
that could happen. Yeah, that's a good point. I believe in the comic by Frank Miller, RoboCop versus Terminator.
Right.
I believe that kind of even happened, because it all happened that the Resistance fighter went back to Detroit, followed by the Terminators, and RoboCop. It's been ages that I've read that comic, and I believe that fight turned out something like that.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure anymore, but I could see that it was something like that.
Yeah. Good stuff. So we'll move on then. What what toys are you playing with when you're growing up? What toys are you playing with, and what cartoons and comics and things like that you're reading?
Comics was interesting. I had a lot of Mickey Mouse growing up. I had little paperbacks from Marvel Comics, from Spider-Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four, Venom, stuff like that. But also Superman, the old Man of Steel run. I had the old run of Marvel versus DC that was done. I had that. Toy-wise, Transformers was a lot. Masters of the Universe. We had places that we had with groceries. There was a lot of KO Transformers. I remember I had the KOs of the old Jumpstarter toys, the G1.
Yeah.
Topspin. So that
Twin Twist,
Topspin Twin Twist. I had those. Mask. I had Playmobil. I had a lot of Lego. I would like to say a shitload because I had a lot of the old Lego Model Team stuff. I love those 2 bits. Like these, they were just extremely cool sets. Absolutely closed off, looked realistic, but had so much technique in them with the moving pistons for the motor and the steering and whatnot. So I love those. I still have 1 set of that. I recently just rebuilt that old black truck they had. I also sometimes dabble in Lego nowadays, not as much as back then, but still. I had a lot of those old Lego City sets with the bank and with the store and police and the street sets and whatnot. Like I said, Playmobil. I played a lot of video games back then. Super Nintendo. I'm actually back and dabbling that. I just do you know the game Cybernator?
No, I'm not aware of that game. No.
Original name is Assault Suits Falcon. It's a battle mech game with anime components to it, so a little bit Gundam-ish.
Yeah.
And that got a recent re-release last year by a company called Retrobit. Super premium gold cartridge, acrylic stand with schematics of the Mac and all that. And I play currently I'm playing that on my Super Nintendo. And back then I did that Killer Instinct 1, Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, SimCity, Super Mario World, Super Castlevania 4, all these. Had a Game Boy back then. So and also model cars, a lot of 1 to 18 usual car models.
Yeah.
So back then already pretty broad interest with that, and my child room floor was a shit show every day, pretty much. That's what it was supposed to be, but and a whole lot of those old plastic toys, plastic cars that were just super gummy plastic quality that you used to flesh out different parts of your fantasy and whatnot. So pretty much all of that, but all of that pretty much the quintessential start to where I was going now. Transformers, Mask, Masters of the Universe, and all that stuff. Never had anything of the Kenner Terminator or Kenner Robocop, also Kenner Star Wars, never. Also, not that super huge on Star Wars. I watched the shows nowadays. I have 1 Hot Toys figure from The Mandalorian, but I never dabbled too big on Star Wars. Where everybody else was actually deep in that, I never had a lot of that.
No. Well, it happens. I mean, it's good that because there is such a broad range of stuff that growing up as kids that you can choose and pick from. I mean, the diecast stuff that you were talking about, the 1/18 scale. Cars and things. So, with you being in Germany, would that have been a lot of like Birago or Polistil and things like that?
Cool that you take that name. Yeah, it was Birago, Maisto, and also Auto Art. I have a little bit down below there. You can actually see there's the
you can just see them. The
Auto Art pencil in this mold. That is the Jada Toys car. I don't know what company that is. That's the Interceptor from Mad Max, and there's an Oreca Viper and the Jada Toys kit further to the right. So that I had. There was this old. Maisto had this interesting premium collection back then, where they actually sold you the box of the model car, and on the inside you had the base where the car was mounted on it, and around that there was a plastic frame. And that plastic frame was able to be connected to other toys, to other cars from that line, where you could actually clip those together for a huge model car shelf.
Right.
So that was, I had a whole lot of that. I Aston Martin, Jaguar, multiple Vipers, Nissan Skylines, Ferrari. Mercedes-Benz, a whole lot. And so much of that stuff that was unheard of.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of that. Sadly, never any die-cast truck models, but I'm currently, and in the back of my head, I actually have that company actually from Germany, Road Kings. They do 118 truck models. They have the Kenworth from Smokey and the Bandit in 118.
Yeah.
With a fitting trailer.
Right.
But that's a 600 euro unit you're looking at right there.
Yeah,
so,
I can imagine, yeah.
So that's big. They actually did the trucks for an old German truck show, roughly translated to On the Road.
Yeah.
A Mercedes-Benz and a Volvo. So yeah, that's still stuff looming and kind of dangerous, but
yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm at the end of my collecting journey. I kind of want to do different stuff with that. I want to see more of the world. I want to see more of the UK. I have friends in the UK I want to visit.
Yeah.
I have friends in the US I want to visit. I want to see Japan. I want to see Scotland, stuff like that.
What I was gonna say though is, I mean, when you mentioned the 118 scale trucks,
yeah,
I mean that. I had diecast as a child growing up, you know, like, you know, because, you know, being a child of the 70s, you know, young childhood was dominated by Matchbox cars, Corgi, things like that. I also did the Burago 118 scale cars, but to think that there would be 118 scale trucks, that's kind of like, you know, that my childhood self is like, oh, what did he say? Did you know? It's like, you know, if I could get a 118 scale F10 Globetrotter, that would just be absolutely amazing. You know, that
I believe the Road Kings that I just told you about, I believe the Volvo was actually an F10 Globetrotter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I remember as a kid, quite sad really, but as a kid I used to enjoy truck spotting. You know, so when we go on holiday, driving down the motorways and stuff, we'd get these little, they were just like little books, like notebooks. And you could tick off the different makes of truck that you saw, you know, when you were going on holiday. And, you know, like the Globetrotter was always one, or the Ford Transcontinental. That was another one that, you know, they were like the big mark trucks kind of thing, you know. But there were also things like Fodden and Seddon Atkinson and Scammell. You know, all these truck makes and models that I don't think any of them are still being produced anymore. You know, it's
also stuff like there are companies out there that I never knew. I'm currently following a Canadian YouTuber called Twin Sticks Garage that actually made a replica of the Kenworth from Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah,
and he is on every year. He's on a truck show in Canada, the Let's Go Show and Shine, I believe. There are trucks there that I have never seen.
Right.
Like also the truck from Over the Top. Like in my mind back then, I was like, that's a cool truck, but what's the make and model? I never knew that thing is an auto car. I never knew the company Autocar.
Right.
Or what is the other company? Casey, I believe Casey. There's so much stuff that I've never known truck-wise. There's so much out there.
Yeah, well, it's like the film Real Steel. Have you seen that film Real Steel? It's the one with Hugh Jackman. It's about the fighting robots, like the boxing robots.
I was just thinking, is he talking about the boxing robot thingy, or is there another truck movie that I don't know about? But
the boxing one. And the truck that he drives in that, when I first saw that truck, I thought, is that like a custom that they've made for the film? But it isn't. It's actually a production truck. I mean, it's an ugly looking thing, but there's a certain charm to it, you know. It's got windows. It has windows down by the feet.
I need to. Oh, that one. I believe that one is actually a Mack, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen one of those. No, it's not. It's a Hudson Mohawk. Wow.
Yeah,
I've actually seen that one on the Let's Go truck show that I just talked about. But it's been years that I've seen that movie. But now that I've seen this, that is the weirdest space for Windows.
Yeah, yeah.
That is so weird. Also, you're going to hate me. I sent you a link to the Road King's Volvo F10.
Oh, right. I'll check that out later. Right, I'm gonna bring it back on topic then, and I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah.
So, growing up as a kid, do you have any like standout memories about a big like Christmas or birthday toy that you got?
Yeah, my dad was a truck driver, and sometimes he was even late for Christmas. And one Christmas evening, he got to me, or got to us, got home, and that's when there was still Toys R Us also in Germany around.
Right.
And he got the old Enterprise D from the Next Generation.
Yeah.
The one with the 4 buttons back in the spine, with the sound of the photon torpedoes and the phaser and the impulse drive and the warp drive. And he got into the door, Merry Christmas, and he handed me that big package, and there was that Enterprise in there. I believe it hung from my ceiling the next 10 to 15 years easy. So that was cool. I don't know why, but I kind of lost that Enterprise, but a few years back I bought it.
Right. Excellent.
So I currently don't know how I actually gonna put it up, but I got that Enterprise back, so that's pretty much also a little bit of my mission with collecting, getting the stuff back that I owned back then and maybe never had, like the Overlord back then, although that was a funny story. I also had the G1 Galvatron back then that I never had, so I'm just trying to amass the stuff that I loved back then, or that I would have loved to have back then. I never had.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that's the same for a lot of collectors. I know it's for me. The majority of my collection is stuff that I didn't have as a kid.
Yeah,
So I think it's maybe there's some psychoanalytic thing in there that but we're trying to recapture something. Who knows?
Maybe.
So I know you mentioned earlier that about the Spawn that got you back into collecting.
Yeah.
But can you was there a point, can you remember the point when you moved away from toys, and so like I know it's probably a bit difficult, but can you recall like a last toy that you got, before you moved on to other things?
Wow. So we really mean from the cut from being a kid and actually getting a toy, and then phasing that out to getting the adult before getting back in, so to speak.
Yes, yeah. So for an example, the last toy I got as a kid was it was a gift from a family member, and it was the Race Car Patrol, the Transformers Race Car, the Micromasters.
Yeah.
But you see, I'd stopped playing and collecting, stopped playing and getting toys by that point. But because it was a gift, it was like, oh, I was appreciative of it, and it's like, thank you very much. It was a thoughtful and a nice gift. But that was the last toy I got, because, like I say, it being a gift. And then, when I got back into collecting, that came many years later. So I can distinctly remember what my last toy was. But I was just wondering if you had any recollections of what yours might have been.
I don't recall that. I just have I have a distinct memory in my head now, but that was not the last toy that I've gotten.
Right.
I can't recall what was the last toy, but that distinct memory is from that old garbage truck from Playmobil. It was this big yellow unit, and I had that in the box of one of my closets, and that's the distinct memory that I have, is that when I let the whole Playmobil collection go as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pretty much anymore remember why I let that go. I believe I just thought I would be done with that, but I don't remember what I've gotten last. May it be as a gift or anything
Yeah.
else. Nah.
No, that's fine. No, it's fine. I mean, like I said,
It's a super cool question. That's a question I've never heard anywhere else because it is super specific, and some people just dabble all the time, all the way through from their childhood towards now, all the way into adulthood, and now being an actual, let's call it how it is, old adult. They never had a space in between. But I mean, stuff like that, like you ask, do you remember the last one that could be a very specific and cherished memory?
Yeah.
So there's absolute potential for a great story here. I just don't recall.
No, it's fine. I mean, to be fair, the majority of people that I speak to are the same. They don't really recollect, because for the majority of people I speak to, for them, it was just kind of an evolution. They stopped playing with toys and they just started playing video games. So like Sega Mega Drives or Master Systems, they just, or PlayStations, they just replaced the toys, and it kind of just phased out rather than a distinctive end kind of thing. So no, there's no worries. I mean, like I say, it's a question, worth asking. But like I said, if you can't remember, you can't remember.
If I may return that, I see a lot of keyboards in the back. Are you big on Commodore 64?
Did you just say Commodore?
Not right?
No, sir. Be gone with you. No. Oh God.
I didn't mean to insult you.
No, it's fine. No, they're. I don't know if you've heard of a computer called a ZX Spectrum.
Ah, that is it. Yeah, I know. I never had that, but I know that.
Yeah, well, that's what that is. It's a bit of a running joke with some of my friends and fellow collectors. Because like Transformers is my main collecting focus. But I would say that my appreciation and my collection of Sinclair Spectrums and associated peripherals and things like that, that's just as big, So I do have a huge love of Spectrums and of any, like late 70s, early 80s, microcomputers or games. So things like the Atari VCS or the Philips. The Magnavoxes and things like that, So yeah, that's what that is. But no, let's get it back to you. You don't want to hear about me. Could you ever see yourself stopping collecting?
Yeah, that's currently actively happening.
Right.
That's actually a lot of pre-orders are actually the last ones that I've actually have running currently, and I don't have the space that I used to have before in my hometown, so I'm actually currently in the process of ending my collection journey. So
right. So would that be a permanent thing, or if you move to bigger premises, would you consider starting it up again?
Fair question. Let's say never say never, but the thing is I'm just overly pretty frustrated with collecting toys as a whole.
Right.
And I just want to be done, and I want to be content with what I got and be happy. Be home, getting the stuff I have, being happy with that, and knowing there's nothing looming in the background anymore. Any pre-order of I don't know what, so many 100 euros still. Yeah. Maybe hitting me in the back, and I just don't want that anymore. And there's just stuff frustrating me. It's the time that stuff takes to be done, because it's usually it's able to get done faster, and people just take a whole lot of time. Next point goes right into that, rehashing so many characters over and over and over again, instead of actually giving us characters that people are missing. Like how many, let's call Transformers, how many season 3, season 4 characters are missing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unheard of that we actually get a mainline Predator King that's looking like Call of the Primitives, but it's taken way too long. Masterpiece is now not called Masterpiece anymore. They ripped that series to shreds, and now it's MPG, established as Masterpiece Gattai, which means combine. So there was a concept behind it, but they took that concept and ripped it apart right along with it, because there's nothing combinable anymore with it. With that being said, what Official is doing is a shit show compared to what Third Party is doing. Like they always kick Official to the curb. Like, when is a Official toy nowadays better than a Third Party version?
Yeah,
I mean, third party is always more expensive because it's a smaller line and also a smaller lineage of toys. You will never sell as much with that, but there's just way more quality involved. It's also not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, absolutely not. But there's just mostly more love involved.
Yeah.
Let's say Fans Toys, Fans Hobby, great company that you can actually approach one-on-one. And the last and the biggest part are, one is personal, and the second is just, I think it's just extremely feisty what nowadays is happening in terms of price. These things cost too much, and the quality is not as good as it should be at that price point.
Yeah.
Tempos are not where they are supposed to be. Tolerances are loose. Arms and legs flop around. Mainline Transformers are sometimes 50% waffles. And it's just horrible. And for that price, I mean, in Germany, a leader class Transformer costs $60. 60. Do you know how many groceries I can buy with $60 nowadays?
Yeah.
I can't remember that I've bought an Official Transformer actually.
No.
So that, and the thing is, due to my private journey, my personal journey with what happened to me, I'm a lot of times frustrated with the quality of the pieces and that they are not working the way they're intended to work. That frustrates me. And sometimes my rage gets the better of me, and then I don't want to break stuff because it doesn't work the way it's intended to. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, that stuff just costs too much for the QC not be done as thorough as it could be, and that stuff for that price just works, and it doesn't most of the time. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, well, then do it better. And the thing is, yeah, maybe I could, but it's not my job. Same as with politics and government. There are apparently smarter persons at the helm of stuff like that. They're not, and they're not doing it better.
No.
And a lot of people are also unrealistic with stuff, how it actually should work engineering wise. But if you try to smarten them up, when they say, that's the next thing, community. I think what's happening in the community on the socials, it's just horrible. People just think they know so much better how that stuff is done, and they just don't. They don't. They don't know how that stuff is done. They don't know that stuff needs to be conceptualized. It needs to be 3D engineered. It needs to be drawn. It needs to go into production. Oh no, stuff doesn't work. It needs to be revisioned. It needs to be re-engineered. It needs to be drawn again. Then it goes into productions. If you're lucky, then it works. Then there comes the QC, and then it gets to the customer. All of those loops, that goes into the price, and people don't see it.
No.
But they just pay and pay and pay. And that's why company like Hasbro are getting the actual sign that is okay, and that these waffles still sell. And so they produce more, and people still buy it. And And that's a vicious cycle, and people don't get it, and they don't want to get smartened up, because otherwise then, I don't know, I'm cast out, I'm a leper, whatever, because...
Well, I do agree with you on that point, because it's like Hasbro just churn out product.
Big
you
time.
know, I mean, it's not... I mean, I don't particularly think that Hasbro as a company care who buys their toys. I don't think they care if it's the collector or if it's little Johnny who's 6-year-old who's going to play with it in his sandpit. I honestly don't think Hasbro care. They just want to... I think they count and rely on, and I think there's a bit of arrogance there as well, that they think, well, the collectors will buy this because they've got this connection to this franchise, you know, through nostalgia, so we'll just put it out and they'll buy it, kind of thing.
Quite frankly, I believe it's not even that they think collectors will buy it anyway. I just think they are like these fanboys. They will buy anything they will throw at the feet. That's the even higher arrogance at that point, I believe.
But so that actually ties us quite nicely into the next question. Then, would you say then those aspects that you've been discussing, would you say that those are kind of like the things that you like and dislike about collecting as a whole?
Yeah, absolutely. Dislike, absolutely, 100%. Those big companies just think they have these few characters that they sell, and they will always sell, and that's why they do 3.0, 4.0, and keep counting, you know? But that's not always the case. I mean, look at MP44, for example. That didn't sell out.
No.
It didn't. And why? Because we have how many versions of Optimus Prime? Some people are out there content with their original G1. And that, let's say, together with stuff like Rhino and maybe also the Power Master, might very well be high ranking among the best toys ever made. They still work to this day. I mean, G1 Optimus Prime is maybe the only toy that you can transform while doing there, you know? And but today's Transformers, I mean, Transformers fans eat good. They really do. You can have an auto-converting Optimus Prime if you want that. You can have a huge quasi-Generation 1 by Yellow Park that has movable arms with engineering stuff. You can have small versions. You can have Masterpiece versions. You can have bigger Masterpiece versions. You can have Legend Scale versions. There's everything out there. And yet still the companies, even small third-party pop-ups, say, yeah, we need to establish ourselves. Okay, what shall we do? Optimus Prime. Us on our podcast panel, we are currently like, oh yay, an Optimus Prime. We got OP fatigue, I tell you. Fans. Yeah. And we are living it up if something comes around like Craftsman Toys Tactilord. Hey, there's a company that's doing Computron. Something else. You know, give us something else. Anything at this point. Or Laser Cat Toys comes around with a small Chibi Predator King. I never had a Predator King. I don't dabble in Chibi. But I pre-ordered it because it's a Predator King. And it's something else. You know? And that's a big problem. They all just rely on their big characters, and people are fed up, or at least a certain percentage are fed up. And I don't get why. There are so many other characters out there that people would rip out of their hands if they would just produce them.
Yes.
Like they're even the Adamus Machina Predator King. It was did you see the newest pictures painted and all that?
Yes, saw those, yeah.
So people were on the Transformers World boards, they were like, okay, the robot modes are pretty much still a shit show, but the Combiner looks amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
And they were jumping right in. And that's what you need to do. You need to give people something else. Otherwise, even stuff like Cyclonus or Galvatron, there are multiple versions out there. You can have multiple third party. You can have Legends. New Age did that. And you can have mainline. There's everything has multiple versions. But there are characters out there that don't even have one, or the pieces are, I don't know how old. Let's say Unique Toy Sorter, that Sandstorm, that is now how old? 10, 15 years?
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much, dude. It's just way too much. It's too much of always the same.
Mm.
And if you write stuff like that, and that's what I also don't like in the communities, like in the chat or comments from Facebook or whatever, all you get are these passive aggressive laughing emojis, smileys, because these keyboard warriors think that's a form of communication. Dude, if you throw me a bone with a laughing emoji, I will block you. That's not communication.
No,
I don't dabble in that.
No.
So horrible stuff out there. Like, that is super toxic, if you ask me. And to me, actually, that's mainly negative in toy collecting. So I have very little positive nowadays out of toy collecting. And that's a big point where it pushes me out of the hobby.
Right. So, can you think of anything that you like about collecting?
Nah.
Right, okay.
No. Like, the good thing is the way that I collect is cherry picking.
Yeah.
So what I get is that I know I 100% like with Masters of the Universe, for example. I cherry pick the new Eternia versions of the characters that I never have because they are stylistically what I always wanted. But even on these, I unbox these. I know from the look and everything that's coming with it, it's super cool. But I know something is going to be wrong, and I'm always right. I don't say a lot that I'm always right, but with this, I'm always right. There's this specific point with Masterverse figures that never works. One of the 2 feet with their disc hinge. Always one is so stiff it needs a hot water bath.
Right.
Every figure. And that is funny. That's a weird way of doing QC.
Yeah.
So cherry picking, and if you are able to really pick what you like and you got coming in, like also the Mafex Superman figures from Reign of the Superman. They are always money. They are always great. I'm having a great time with these figures. Like I was big on Death and Return of Superman back then. I just got the Eradicator. These always work. Mafex, I feel Mafex is the only company that actually listens and learns. Back with the Spider-Man figure, they had the problem that the wrist pegs broke off. And they listened. And what they did is they still put the additional hands in there, but on the peg, they have these little pieces at an angle, the same diameter as the peg hole in their hand. And every hand has that. Both pairs come off these little translucent bits that always have the spread diameter of the hand. And that way, it won't break off, because the diameter of the hand, that is just the accessory, and the one on the peg of the figure is actually the same diameter with the same tolerance. You just plug it off and you put the other one on. No more breakage.
No.
That is evolution.
Yeah.
That's fun. Had no problem with Mafex figures ever since. Excellent. Really excellent. And that's fun.
What advice would you give to a collector that's just starting out now?
I believe number 1 would be cherry pick. Like, don't conceptualize, get what you like. If you want to know stuff, just ask, and don't ask what is the best, because that's always a point of opinion. 5 people will tell you 6 different opinions on what is the best. That will never work. So of course you can get your selection of the best out there, but to me, to me that wouldn't help, because the best was what you enjoy the most. Meaning, some people will look at the Revelation Roboto and say he's super bland.
Yeah.
And from an objective point of view, that is right. It is the more of the objective of the plain-looking Robotos. But the story arc this version of Roboto had in Revelation was beautiful and super in-depth. So that was cool. If you look toy-wise, then the new Eternia Roboto is the best.
Right.
Because that is looking stellar. So there's never the right answer. Just never. So pretty much listen to yourself. Like, if you see something, buy it. If you see something else and think, oh man, I should have, don't. Be happy with what you got. If you really feel the urge, you need to exchange it, then go ahead.
Yeah.
But be ready that you will not get the value of the figure you got beforehand back. Because this is not a game to add value. This is a game for your heart. This is what you said before. What was it? Psychological therapy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Listen to that. So there's something missing. You want to fill that hole. Whatever. But listen to yourself. You see something. Oh, that exists. Okay, let's see what else is out there, and maybe dabble in a little bit of research.
Yeah.
Ask questions, but don't ask other people what's best. You decide for your own what's best.
Yeah. No, sound advice. We're getting near the end now, Tim. So we've only it's the last question, and that is there anything that you'd like to ask me?
Yes, there is. You said to me you are 51.
Well, in September, not quite yet.
Okay, so it's still the big 50. So how did you start out YouTube, or how was it that you thought, okay, in that high of an age, I'm gonna do YouTube?
We'll be right back.
Die neuen Transformers sind da. Die Triggerbots kämpfen gegen die Triggercons. Wenn sie aneinander geraten, kämpfen sie bis zum Umfallen. Ein neuer Optimus Prime ist da. Power Master Optimus Prime ist der größte Held aller Zeiten. Wenn man seinen Nebulon in einen Motor transformiert, verwandelt er sich zum Super-Roboter. Die neuen Transformers sind da. Micromaster Transformers für die Autobots und die Decepticons. Ihre neuen Kommandos sind so klein und schnell, dass ihnen niemand folgen kann. Micromaster Transformers. Die neuen Pretenders sind da. In den Autobot Pretenders versteckt sich ein Transformer, mit dem sie Seite an Seite kämpfen. Aber auch die Decepticons haben Pretenders. Pretender Transformers. Jetzt auch als Comicheft und auf Videokassette. Die Original Hasbro Transformers.
Okay, now we're back.
Wow. Excellent question. Right, okay. So where can I start with this? Right. Okay, Vaults of Iacon, which is my social media, but it started as a website, did Vaults of Iacon. And it's actually, funnily enough, Vaults of Iacon will be 25 years old this year.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So, as a concept, as a thing, I first came up with Vaults of Iacon in the year 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it was just basically... It was just a concept, really. And I designed myself and made myself little business cards. And, you know, because I got back into collecting about 1997, 98.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got back into collecting. So
when I started my first apprenticeship.
Yeah. So if I went to like toy collectors shops, or if I went to, which there weren't many of back then, I may add, or if I went to like the odd toy fair here and there, I would give them this card and say, "Oh look, I'm a collector. I wanted to pick stuff up. If you get a particular piece, here's my details. Give me a ring and let me know," kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first website in 2005, which is ironic, really, because 2005 is the year that Transformers the movie is set in. You know, so that's how that started. I then, when Facebook came along, I got a Facebook page, Volkswagen Facebook page, and did that through that. Instagram came along in before that, but I didn't start on Instagram till 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And I was content and happy to do that. I'd get figures, I'd do reviews for them, but they were all written reviews, and then I post them on the website and take photos. Instagram was more photos with minimal text, you know, because I thought, you know, and I started refining and indulging myself in photography taking. Now, I will be the first to admit I'm not the world's best photographer, but what I try to do is I was really inspired and influenced by a book that I got years ago, which was called The Unofficial Guide to Transformers by J.E. Alvarez. I got that in the early days when I first started out collecting. And what I liked about the photos in that book were the backgrounds were very plain. It was just a plain background, and the figures were the point of focus in the images. And I thought that's what I wanted to try and replicate, you know. So my shtick, if you will, my branding for Vaults of Iacon is I take all my photos in front of a grey roller blind. So I pull the roller blind down, I've got all my lights set up, and I got my camera, and I take the photo. And that's basically because I want the figure to be of prominence in the picture. I don't want it to be distracted from by having a diorama I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some great photographers out there who do diorama photography, and they're amazing, and I'm in awe of them, and I wish I could be as good as that, but I know I'm not, you know. I know my limitations.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know, so that was it, and I was happy to plod along like that. I mean, I had a YouTube account, and I would watch people's reviews, and I mean, Ben's Collectibles was an early one that I used to watch all the time. You know, I was really into his stuff. And I know Ben, and he's a great chap. He's a really nice chap. You know, and that was it. You know, I never had any intentions to go onto YouTube. But then a couple of friends that I know, they were saying, you know, why don't you start doing some, you know, instead of doing your written reviews, why don't you do a YouTube review? And I'm like, oh, no, because I'm the type of person that doing YouTube stuff, doing the video stuff is so far out of my comfort zone, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as much as I've done, I'm still firmly of the opinion that I absolutely 100% suck at it. It's like, you know, I'm kind of like wigging it, you know, making it up as I go along. So yeah, so the YouTube thing was never really a thing for me, but I thought, well, I'll give it a go. But I thought I'd come at it as a different angle, because, you know, I can talk about Transformers, but I always struggle to get out of my mouth what I'm thinking.
Good call.
I'm much better at doing written reviews than I am doing at verbal reviews.
That's interesting, because that's what to me happens with the English language. Like,
right,
when I know always exactly what I want to say.
Yeah.
But the English language to me always comes down to how my daily condition is. Like, sometimes the easiest words won't pass my lips. There's no chance whatsoever.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can talk open end, no problem whatsoever. Today is an average day. Is an average day, but it's always it's interesting. Like, I had a course with a native speaker in my transfer company, and after she heard me, I was directly placed way up. Like, in Germany, it's called C1 plus, which is essentially business level English. short of mother tongue. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's not at all what I feel myself being at the quality level in English. So I understand you in that way.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of took the decision to, well, the thing that I am good at is talking to people. You know, I enjoy talking to people, and I thought, right, okay. And then that's where this Collector's Archive thing came from. I thought, right, I will talk to fellow collectors and I'll ask them about how they got into collecting. And then that's how I ended up doing the YouTube thing. And then since then I've tried, you know, diversifying and doing other little things. At the moment I'm doing which is just purely for laughs. I do these little shorts called Ed's Transformers.
Okay.
And basically once a week I'll pick one. I'll be like, so like, you know, this week I have been mostly playing with Apache, or I've been playing with Yagut, you know, so I'll just pick a Transformer, but it's done in a comedic style, you know, just so you know. So it's not a serious thing, it's just like done for a bit of a laugh, you know, playful laughs. The last one that I did, I'm putting lipstick on. Yeah. And so like I'm there putting lipstick, and I'm like, oh, and then like I say, oh, this week I've been playing with Fans Toys Rouge, you know, which is their version of RC. Yeah. So it's like comedy things like that. Yeah. So, you know, because like I say, I mean, I don't take it seriously, because I don't think it's anything to be taken seriously. You know, at the end of the day, we're collecting plastic and die-cast toys. You know, it's not a serious thing. Yeah.
Fair point.
And I'm still a kid at heart. You know, I like to, you know, tease people. I like to have a laugh with people, and you know, I get to do that a bit, you know, with some of the things that I do on YouTube and on the social media side of it and that. So yeah, I just try to enjoy it where I can, you know. So yeah, that's in a long way around. That's how I ended up being on YouTube.
Cool. Thank you. That's a cool story. That's essentially also pretty much not your daily run-of-the-mill answer or how you do it, because many just started doing it, and like you said, maybe took it way too seriously. Like also, I can say I'm pretty much one of those guys myself. Like I tried that out, tried to do it as a job actually, and that didn't work whatsoever, because the YouTube algorithm in today's day and age is just all over the place. It never works.
Well, yeah, but I agree, and that's the thing. When I did decide, I don't. You see, it's like with the photography thing on Instagram and the website thing. I never have, and I never will do it for likes, subscribes, shares. That's not my motivation for doing it. My motivation for doing it is to try to make my next content better than the content before.
Absolutely.
That's why I do it. And I'll never go monetized. I'll never have the begging bowl out, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a link where I've designed some t-shirts that people can go and buy. And I have the Buy Me a Coffee thing. I have a Buy Me a Coffee on the website. Yeah. But that's just there if the mood strikes anyone. You know, it's something I don't advertise it. I don't push it or anything like that. It's just a case of if people find it, they find it. If they don't, they don't. Yeah. I don't see why other people should pay for me to enjoy my hobby.
Fair point. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, there are a lot of people out there. Like I'm a friend of Bobby Skullface.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot of stuff on his Patreon, and there's just way more interesting stuff on his Patreon. And I like to support him. So that's cool. I try to do it myself, but it's definitely the more healthy mindset you got, 100%. So and I've gotten there myself. Like I had a bit of a sabbatical myself. Like I actually, at the start of the year, I actually said I'm done. Like I put out a video and I said I'm done. That's it, because I was not able to enjoy it for the stuff itself. And
Okay. Yeah.
then a few months back, I was actually starting to feel the itch again, and I missed video editing. And video editing is a lot of fun because I made that all by myself. Like my graphics and all that. Like my ex-girlfriend actually helped me getting to know Photoshop, so she helped me with Illustrator and Photoshop to do all that.
Yeah.
But the video editing, I learned all of that myself, and that's what I've been missing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. That was the same for me. I took a sabbatical pretty much all of last year.
Yeah.
Most of last year, I took a break from it, and that's the thing I enjoy the most. I enjoy doing the editing of the video. I enjoy doing the editing of the photography. You know, just like even just little touches that probably nobody else will ever notice is there, but I will look at a photo and think, yeah, I can see that little detail there that I put in, and I don't care if it's like I did a photograph of Fans Toys Quietus, their Cyclonus, a few weeks ago, and there's a detail it's on my Instagram page, and there's a detail on that photograph that I don't think anybody has seen, and I don't care that they've not seen it. I know it's there, and I'm happy it's there. So yeah, so the editing side is the thing that
Let me guess. The kanji on the blade.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that struck my eyes.
Yeah.
That's the first.
And nobody's ever sort of like said, "What's that? Well, what does that say? What does it mean?" I know what it means, but it's like and it's but yeah, it's so yeah. There's little things that I put in now and again that they're just for me. They're just for me because I'm doing what I enjoy.
Yeah, that's pretty much also what I do with my thumbnails. Like many people just do thumbnails in the form of the figure, but I like to give the figure that I take a picture of for the thumbnail to have some life. So I always put it in Photoshop, and I give it the light up eyes that fits that specific figure, never in the same way.
Yeah.
And also, like on MMC Rampage, I put him up that his blades are crossed over.
Yeah.
And I gave him just a few sparks on the chest, as if he's blocking a few shots.
Yeah.
I always try to give my thumbnails a little bit of life.
Yeah.
And maybe people never see it, but it's just it's your own set of standards. You want to be good with what you see in front of you, and happy in a way that I can present that, I can get behind that. And that's what a lot of people should strive towards.
We've now come to the end of our chat, Tim, so I will recap by just saying thank you very much for agreeing to come on and chat with me. And if you would like to just take a moment again just to remind people where they can find you.
Absolutely. So thanks for having me too, man. It was a great time. Thank you very much for the invite. Like I said, if you need action figures, I one half of the Collector's Bay. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and also on YouTube. At the Collector's Bay, everywhere there. I'm doing toy reviews and a little bit of recaps, and also sometimes movie reviews on Tim K's Nerd Crate, at the Nerd Crate 2 also for Transformers, and at the _nerd_crate on Instagram for toy news and reels regarding all that. I'm doing Transformers, I'm doing Mortal Kombat, Masters of Universe 6 scale, and pretty much whatever I find and what pretty much fits the whole nerd fandom. So yeah, I believe Ev will put the links down below. You can find me there, and hope I will have you on my channels any way, shape, or form. And yeah, thanks again.
Right then, Tim, all the best. Thank you very much indeed. You take care, and until we speak again.
Sounds like a good deal. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
See you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Listen, don't mention the war. I mentioned it once, but I think I got away with it all right.
Thank you for watching the Collector's Archive. To ensure you never miss an episode, please select the like, subscribe, and notification icons. The bolts of Icon.